Sustainable assessment of 40 apartments in the Girón Group building using Verde tool. The building belongs to one of the consolidated districts of the 50s and 60s in Zaragoza, Las Fuentes. These urban areas have a high compactness and density and a good level of equipment and social cohesion. However, these districts show lack of green areas and parking, low accessibility and very bad thermal insulation in housing spaces. The district in which the building is situated has been the subject of two preliminary studies carried out by the City Council. The first one describes the social and urban situation of the neighbourhood. The second one shows urban rehabilitation proposals based on a social and technical analysis of 8,000 residential units. The citizen participation has been a very important element during the whole renovation process. An intensive and continuous contact has been maintained with neighbourhood and social agents from the preliminary studies to the final work. As a result of these conditions, a test proposal has been carried out in a 40-dwelling building. Urban and public spaces surrounding the building have been of a great significance for the project, since the main aim of this programme is the urban rehabilitation and regeneration of the district and other similar neighbourhoods. The original 5-story building is L-shaped and has 4 entrances which give access to 10 dwellings each, 2 dwellings per floor including ground floor. The residential units are very small, as well as the staircases. They were not equipped with elevators. The facades in brick are a common element with the rest of the buildings of the district, which give them a strong character. The project responds mainly to the need of a severe improvement of the thermal performance of the building by means of increasing the insulation level of facades and roofs. The aim is to act only on common elements of the building, and always from the outside in order to avoid a transferal of the residents, and to avoid a decrease of the small surfaces of the dwellings. At the same time, the brick character of the facade must be kept. For all these reasons, the solution chosen for the facades consists on a ventilated wall anchored to the original one, which is entirely kept. The finishing for this ventilated wall is in ceramic plates, keeping the brick look of the facades. Finally, the improvement of accessibility conditions was also one of the main goals of the proposal. 4 elevators were part of the project, for whose installation the staircases were slightly modified. The original heating system was individual for each dwelling, with a very poor performance. All the energy services of the building have been replaced and reorganized. For each group of 10 dwellings, a new centralized heating and hot water was put up, fitted with gas boiler, solar support, and independent heat meter for each dwelling. Along with the introduction of the elevators, the areas needed for the new services have required a careful design and the optimization of shared areas. 2 new volumes in each staircase house the new facilities. The project has been evaluated by Verde tool, developed by GBC España. This tool allows the evaluation of new construction, residential and office buildings, and it is planned to permit assessment of the building on the life cycle. Verde is focused on the integration of Spanish and European regulatory standards, New Building Code, CTE, Código Técnico de la Edificación, and the implementation of the Energy Performance of Building Directive, EPBD. The Verde assessment is based on building impact analysis, calculated as impact reduction compared to a reference building. The list of impacts was defined in accordance with CEN/TC 350 WG1 Assessment of Environmental Performance of Building, Calculation Methods. Since the project consists of a building renovation, the site selection has been determined by the nature of the intervention. As a test project to be reproduced in similar buildings, a very well-oriented building has been chosen. Also, the project was focused on the recovery of quality public space, ready for a real use. One of the major goals of the proposal was to improve the thermal envelope of the building in order to reduce the energy consumption regarding the original situation. Along with the good performance of the new energy services and elevators, the improvement of roof and facades insulation enabled a great energy saving. For equal conditions of comfort, heating consumption goes from 100 before to 26 after renovation in winter, and from 100 to 37 in summer. The consumption of warm water goes from 100 before to 38 after renovation. The renovation has been certified with the experimental program EAE/THENER for existing buildings. The building goes from qualification type E, 198 kilos of carbon dioxide per square meter, to qualification type B, 14.1 kilos of carbon dioxide per square meter, after rehabilitation. Nevertheless, for the evaluation with Verde, the certification was calculated by Calener VYP, the official recognized program for the Spanish energy certification, getting only in this case a D, 18.9 kilos of carbon dioxide per square meter, which does not reflect the real level of performance achieved. Compared to a conventional new building, the nature of the retrofit is enabled to reduce the embodied energy of the materials by 56% and by 60% of the amount of carbon dioxide equivalent required to produce them. Besides, almost 71% of the materials used have a local origin, less than 200 kilometers away from the site. Due to the external character of the renovation, the dwelling's indoor conditions have been improved only in terms of thermal comfort. The improvement of accessibility conditions was one of the main goals of the proposal. By means of 4 elevators, absolutely all the dwellings are completely accessible. In economic terms, the amount of money invested and the grant awarded by the City Council made the retrofitting affordable for all of the residents. The costs of works were €38,000 per dwelling. The total cost, including urbanization, project and management, was €43,000 per dwelling, and the average aid was of 75%. The building obtains 1.38 points out of 5 and 1 leaf. We reduce 11.53 kilos of carbon dioxide equivalent per square meter per year, 11% kilos of sulfate equivalent, 111.18 megajoules per square meter per year of non-renewable energy resources, 56% of depletion of non-renewable material resources other than primary energy, 71.4% of no hazardous waste, almost 8% of economic imbalance for investors.